Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle Earth here with a video on the gold crunch in this game and what I think is going to happen with it very soon. We've got confirmation that the devs are aware of this. I'll show you guys in a second, but I think we're going to get some relief here for gold, so stay tuned. I want to talk through some possible options. Okay, so if you guys aren't aware, the devs do use Twitter as one of their means to communicate. They also use the Discord. There's quite a few areas they're actually, communicating through right now, which is good. And I hope that it stays that way, because in my experience in other games, sometimes they'll start with a lot of things and then, social media accounts go, more inactive. So I'm hoping they keep this up. But if you go to their Twitter, you can see everything they're posting, which is great. But you can actually go to their replies section right there. Again, it's look a little different on mobile if you're on mobile, but you click replies when you're on their page and you can see what things they have replied to, which I think gives us a very clear indication of kind of where they're at and what their knowledge is in terms of what's going on in the game. So here's one of the suggestions. It's a player replying to this tweet they put out here, and they say, just wanted to give you all a heads up. Many players are frustrated with the lack of gold and chances to get a good amount of it. Why not set up a purchase gold system in the store that's just like the gems, but the gold is bought with gems or simply through money? And they replied and said, we hear you and we're already talking internally. In the meantime, we love all the suggestions, but yes, the crunch is clearly too real and we want to alleviate some of that. So first of all, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of just allowing or making gold just like give us money and we're going to give you gold. We've talked about it on stream a little bit. The gold crunch in the game right now is keeping the ceiling for the whales a little bit lower, I think. So it's keeping the distance a little bit further. But the reality is with these games, if over time especially, there's going to be more things for whales to buy and they're going to progress faster. The good thing, a lot of the stuff in the game that hopefully is to come in the future will do some kind of matchmaking, so you won't be matched up against players who are spending thousands of dollars. You'll be matched up with someone who has similar collection power to you, so it won't really matter for you personally, but they do get things faster and more quickly get access to other things in the game. So anyway, there's a reply there where they just say the gear crunch is clearly too real. So that's a good point there, although again, me personally not a huge fan of just like the hey, literally just pay us 4 gold, because then that just means it's still a big crunch for free-to-plays and low spenders. This is another one here that's another reply to a different tweet that said basically the same thing. This is high on our list and we're not talking about the tea, as we've been noticing in our end, and it's an obvious pain. We understand fighting in orc might be easier than getting gold, and that doesn't feel right. We're working towards solutions. So a couple of comments here right away. I saw these yesterday. I know a few have covered it already, but I wanted to just make sure this information was out there for you guys to see, and also make you guys aware that you can, check out their Twitter as well and see what they're responding to, what things are getting attention. Because I do think if they're tweeting about it and replying to people and saying, hey, we know we're working towards a solution, I don't think a change is that far off for us. I want to talk about a few things that I think could happen that would make this much, much better right away. The first thing that I think would be the most easiest, and I think needs to happen regardless, is I need to go to the treasure trove event, and I think they need to add a 0 to every single one of these tiers. That means at the highest tier, you'd be getting 400,000 3 times a day. Now, maybe that's a little bit high for that high tier. I was doing a comparison in Galaxy of Heroes to their credit event that's like this, that's a credit challenge. And I think the top tier, I think, gave 100,000, if I'm not mistaken. So again, it could have some balancing out, but especially at these smaller amounts, if we were to get 140,000 3 times today, if you're depending on what level you're at, or if you got 200,000, that'd be 600,000 in one day. They'd probably start building up pretty fast because you can do this 3 times a week. But again, my point is just adjusting these values so they're a little bit higher, I think would alleviate for everyone without any cost added to anyone. I think it'd be a very easy and a very good fix to whatever the amount is, increase what we're getting in the treasure trove. The next thing I'm going to talk about is more of an event that is similar to Galaxy of Heroes Credit Heist. Galaxy of Heroes is a credit heist that basically is on it just says it occurs roughly every 10 to 16 days. However, there is no official cadence. So they do this credit heist. You can kind of see here, they map out how often it happens. It's, 3 days went by, 12 days went by, 14, 18, 10. And it just like, so I don't know if it's set on a system that once the gold that players have drops below a certain amount, it triggers, or if it's just totally random. I don't know. But again, Galaxy of Heroes, we reference it once in a while over here. They do have a event tab like this, and it would just show up here in an area and say credit, or it'd be gold heist or whatever, and it could be some kind of a a dragon battle with not against Smog, but like that'd be kind of the theme. And you could go in there, you fight through, and there's different tiers to it. So again, like a battle like this, there's the Hoth Omega battles, and each tier has different rewards for this. First of all, I think we should have more events like this that just all give out gold. That would help, but it's one specifically for gold, and as you work through different tiers, it gets to be more and more to like a pretty significant amount. And again, the required units, it you know, this one requires rebels specifically. So there could be some requirements for it to participate in it, whether it be a power requirement or a specific faction. But I think a specific gold event that comes around not as often as challenges, but allows us to try different new tiers to fight and get like serious chunks of gold. Again, I think the credit heist at the max level gives 5 million credits in Galaxy of Heroes. So maybe that'd be too much in this game, I'm not sure, but a specific event I think would be a very good thing. The next thing they could do that I think would be very easy, and this will be my last suggestion for right now, because again, we won't really know until it happens, so we're just gonna let it be, but I think they could just increase the amount of gold we're getting for daily objectives. Again, this would be available to everyone. It would encourage everyone to play and get through their daily objectives. Right now, some of them give around like 500 gold, like this one here. If that were a little bit more, again, there's a lot of them, so I think you could add it up to where everyday players are able to get maybe, I think it would be like in the tens of thousands ideally, if that's a daily thing, in addition to increased gold for challenges. And then there's a rotating event maybe every week to 2 weeks that pops in and gives you a big burst. I think that in itself would be very good. Again, they could add a lot more things. They could add different events to the game that give you like ability materials, for example, but also have a gold reward. So if anything that we're doing could add gold, it would definitely alleviate that. I'd like to avoid something that's just a straight, you know, go into the store, spend 20 bucks for 1 million gold, because it means those that are spending are going to have even more of an advantage and just move forward faster. They're already, you know, the big whales are already just refreshing the energy as much as they possibly can in farming gold. So they're already further ahead. So I don't want to do one that just lets people just take off even more. I'd like to keep it as balanced as possible. And that's coming from someone who spends and would probably buy bundles if they were really good for gold. But I don't want, you know, in the first week and a half of the game to be so separate from the free-to-play or low spinning base of this game. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts. Again, I'm happy we got confirmation. Like I said, they've been on the Twitter talking about it a lot. They've been in the Discord talking about it a lot. I think it's a really good thing that they've come out and just addressed that they know it's a problem and they're working on it. It's not like they've just taken note and said, hey, we understand you're not happy. Like they have even said, we know this is too much. So I think the game's in a good spot. I think they're looking at a lot of stuff. So again, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you like any of the ideas for events that I talked about, or is there something else that could be done? Totally, obviously with raids on the horizon too, gold could be a pretty big reward in the raids. It's the Mines of Moria raids where they mine mithril, a very valuable resource. So maybe you could even get mithril in the Mines of Moria raid and convert it to gold. I don't know. We could go on all day about it, but let me know down below what you guys think. And as always, I'll see you in a future video.